What's going on, everyone? My name is Michael. Some of you know me as Magic Mike. And on today's episode, we are going to be looking over this 2005 Suzuki Aerio SX that I just purchased for $800. We're going to find out if it was even worth it. Let's get started. So for some of you who may have been watching Hoovie's videos lately, you'll know that he just recently got his dealer's license, and one of his first purchases was this 2005 Suzuki Aerio SX. So he gave me a call. He said, "Hey, I know you were looking for something that would get better gas mileage," and I was immediately interested. So I came over and I actually got to take a look at it a few weeks in advance before the video was recorded. I've put about 600 miles on this car already before the video was made, and I've already made several repairs. I will be making videos on the repairs that I made to get things up and running, but so far I've really been enjoying it. When I first looked it up, it was rated at 24 to 28 miles per gallon, and I thought that was a little bit low. I started driving it and checking gas mileage, and I was getting about 26 miles to a gallon when I first started driving it. I made a few repairs. I did spark plugs, engine air filters, and I bumped up the tire pressure from 28 psi to 38 psi, and I was able to now get 32 miles to a gallon out of this car, which is really great. That's about double what my Buick Roadmaster does. So let's take a look inside and see what's going on. So on the interior, it definitely has some wear and tear on the carpets, seats. Looks like it's definitely seen better days, but again, this car has 215,000 miles, so I don't expect a whole lot. Definitely has some cracks on the dashboard, nothing too major, but everything appears to be intact in the interior. It does have an aftermarket stereo. It works okay. One of the speakers is blown, but the rest of it all appears to be here. So I have run over to LKQ to pick up some parts from a salvage vehicle. I got very lucky. There is a 2005 sedan over in the salvage yard here in Wichita, and I was able to grab a whole bunch of parts for this car. So one of the things that I picked up, I grabbed that trim piece for the driver's door, and I've also picked up a new front bumper. I will be making a video when I get those installed. They are currently out getting painted. So once those show up, I'll make a video about installing those pieces. But one of the first things that I was able to fix was the tailgate latch. If you watched Hoovie's video, he mentioned that the tailgate would not work. The handle had been stuck all the way back. So I'm going to show you how I was able to fix that. So right now, if I can get a good look at it, you can see that the handle is pushed all the way back. And I figured the handle was broken. I figured something internally had been damaged, but I was able to figure it out. First thing that I did was I took a pocket screwdriver and I just pushed the handle back out. And I noticed that as soon as I pull it again, it gets stuck. So that's why I was thinking maybe the handle had gone bad, something internally had jammed. But what I found out, if I come over here to the lock, and I unlock it, tailgate works, handle comes back, and I now have a working tailgate. So that was a pretty easy fix. You can see I've got some tools and some spare parts in the trunk. These are all parts that I've pulled off of LKQ. These are the grills from the other bumper that's currently over at paint. I grabbed some extra headrests from that car and a few other pieces that I'll show you why I grabbed those in upcoming videos. So having solved that, that was the first big issue. Tailgate works every time. Now we'll take a quick look under the hood. So first thing, it actually looks like it's in pretty good shape. Plastic cover over the ignition coils is still intact. Airbox is still intact. Battery is relatively recent. Starts up every time. Fuse and relay covers are all here. Struts are definitely a little on the worn side, but all the fluids are topped up. I've got coolant, I've got oil. So let's take a look underneath, see if there's any signs of damage. So I did get pretty lucky. Like I said, I got to put about 600 or 700 miles on this car before Tyler filmed the video. So I'm pretty familiar with the ins and outs of it already, but we'll do an under vehicle inspection, show you all what kind of condition it is. So there's definitely some rust, 215,000 miles, surfaced rust, not surprised. Rear drum brakes on this car. And it is front wheel drive, so no rear axle. Charcoal canister, vent lines, all look to be in decent condition. Exhaust. It's a little loose, but it'll definitely hang in there for now. You can see that the muffler has definitely lost its exterior shielding. Nice little chrome tip on there. Again, some more surface rust. Nothing too terrible. Definitely better than what I was expecting for $800. Getting up to the front. Oh, a little bit of AC condensation dripping down. I did just get done driving this. So if I can show you. CV boot on that side looks to be okay. Oh, here we go. So CV boot on this side. I'm not sure how well it's shown up on camera, but that's definitely torn. I do get a little bit of a creaking sound when I'm taking off in first gear. My guess is all the grease has come out of those boots and is now just dry inside. So I'm pretty sure that's what my creaking noise is from. If you look up here, you can see that I do have one new tie rod end installed. I've actually had an alignment done on this vehicle, and in order to do that alignment, I had to replace that tie rod end. Looking over here, ball joint's torn. That one didn't need to be replaced because I was able to do the alignment without it, but looking at it, seeing that the boot is torn, it's definitely worth replacing. It's like a $22 piece, not too bad to replace. I'm sure I'll do that in an upcoming video. I have also put on this new left front tire because when I got it, this tire was worn almost completely bald on the inside edge. So that was one of my biggest concerns, was wanting to get it aligned, making sure there was no damage anywhere, just wanting to make sure that I could align it before I went too much further. Front brake pads and rotors are in good condition. CV axle boots on this side. Yep, torn on the inside boot again. Exterior boot looks good. Oil pan, drain plug. I did do an oil change on this already. And my oil drain bolt was leaking. I put a new gasket on there and that's taking care of that leak. I do have some oil residue up front. That's actually all residual from the valve cover leaking all the way down. Coming over here, you can see that I've also got some on this front edge coming from that front main seal. That'll have to be done here. But for $800, looking underneath it, I was pretty surprised. I was expecting much, much worse condition. So let's go ahead and lower it down and we'll talk about a couple of the other issues. So we mentioned this front bumper had some damage and I've got a new one coming, but it also did have fog lights in it when I first got it, but they've completely cracked, and they were cracked for so long that they've corroded the housings on both sides. So I went ahead and removed those, and the bumper that I got to replace this actually just has some black plastic covers. So I'll install those when I get the new bumper. So for $800, this really wasn't a bad buy. However, if you watched Hoovie's video, He mentioned that it had nice cold AC and there were no lights on in the dash. That actually wasn't in the condition how I bought it. When I first bought it, the blower motor wasn't working. I didn't know if the AC or heater worked because the blower motor wasn't working, and it also had an airbag light on the dash. Both of those issues I've got fixed, and I'll make videos on how I made those repairs upcoming. So for 32 miles to a gallon, this has actually proven to be a pretty good buy. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Was it worth it? Should I have just completely avoided it? Let me know what you think. I really appreciate it. Thank you.